Today, from Donna Tucci Library, we have an incredible special guest star who you all might know as our after-school leader, Miss Sarah.
Hi, everybody.
We love Miss Sarah. We miss her very, very much. And Miss Sarah will be moving back to our hometown of Pittsburgh next week. So we are lucky enough to have Miss Sarah come in to read with us and to say hello to all of you. And don't worry, this might only be the first of 2 or 3 story times that we do with Miss Sarah, as we wish her the best in everything she does, because Miss Sarah will do everything and more, and all to make other people happy and herself. And we just wish you all the best, and we are going to miss you so much, and the kids love you, and all of our patrons and the staff also.
I love you guys so much. I'm gonna miss you, and I'll always be back. I'll come back and visit. And
it's true, yeah. So get a good. This isn't the last.
Yeah,
this isn't the last you see of Miss Sarah. So today we are going to be doing a very special story time, and I don't know if those of you remember the kitty cat one, where we read Millions of Cats by Wanda Gog, and then we wanted to look up more information about cats. And so we used a non-fiction book, and we used things like the table of contents, the index, and all sorts of different things to figure out how to get more information about a subject. Today's subject, we're going to do very similar today, and Miss Sarah is going to grace us with a reading about a book, with a reading of a book. Now, today's topic, well, the book itself is called Yo Soy Muslim, and it is written by, do you want to tell us the author, Miss Sarah?
Mark Gonzalez.
Great, and the illustrator is Marmalade Amini. And illustrator means what, Miss Sarah?
It is the artist who draws the pictures to go along with the story.
You're an artist, aren't you, Miss Sarah?
Yeah, and I have very many friends who are awesome, awesome illustrators. So if you really like drawing, you could grow up and draw for a living.
That is so cool. And Miss Sarah brought us a present that is a children's book that is illustrated or drawn by a friend of hers. So that's going to be a book that I actually added a link to it on the Donna Tucci Facebook page probably about a month ago, but I have the actual book. So we're going to probably do a park story time, and that's going to be one of the books we read, which is really cool because we kind of know the illustrator through our Sarah. So today, we are going to read a book called Yo Soy Muslim, where we explore another culture. So today, we're going to be exploring the culture of the Middle East. And there's a religion called Islam. And so we're going to be reading a book about that. What's interesting about this book is that there are parts that are also in Spanish. So Spanish is a language, English is a language, and a language that a lot of people speak in the Middle East, actually everywhere in the world really, is Arabic. So we're going to explore this story, which is subtitled A Father's Letter to His Daughter. And then after we read that, speaking of illustrators, Marmalade Amini is actually an illustrator from Iran, which is a country. Back in ancient times, it had a different name. It was called Persia. And after we read a book about exploring Muslim culture, we are going to read a book about Iran, or as it used to be known, Persia. And we're going to find out all about the culture, and I will show you how to do that, again, by going through the table of contents, by going through the index and the glossary, what's a glossary, Miss Sarah?
It is where you go to look up terms that you don't know.
Yeah.
So if you're reading a book and you come to a word that you don't really know, you can go to the back of the book and look in the glossary, and they'll help you understand what that word means.
So it's kind of like a mini dictionary, right?
Exactly. It's a mini dictionary of the words that are in the book that you're reading.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So that actually helps, because otherwise I might need a dictionary, but this book already has one in it. So as we always do, we're going to do our hello song. And Miss Sarah usually comes for after school time, so she hasn't seen me do the hello song in person, but she's been watching Miss Sunita do all of her story times virtually. I really appreciate the support, Miss Sarah.
We'll see how I do.
We are so excited to have you. Okay, so first, as always, we're going to do our hello song. Miss Sarah is going to read to us, and then we're going to figure out how to answer some questions we have that might come up through the book that we're going to read. And again, the book Miss Sarah is reading is fiction. It's a storybook. The book I'm reading is nonfiction, or a place where you get extra facts or information. So they work together in perfect harmony, and that's how we learn. So let's get started. Okay, and as we all know, it's bread and butter and marmalade and jam. All right, here we go. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quickly as we can. All right, what's the opposite of quickly? Let's figure it out. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Super slow. All right. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as we can, like a mouse. That was super high. Good. I can't get myself to go like that. Okay, opposite of high. Let's find out. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as low as we can. Hello. Oh. All right, last two. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quiet as it can. I can't hear. Okay, let's turn it up. We gotta turn it up. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Hello, Donatucci! We are here as we always are. And even if Miss Sarah has to move to a different place, this virtual programming that we've been doing, it keeps us all close. So it's not all negative. There are really, really wonderful opportunities, and we will explore them together. Okay.
All right, so shall I get started?
Yes.
All right, so our book today that we're reading is called Yo Soy Muslim. Yo Soy Muslim. A father's letter to his daughter. It has been said if you climb a tree to the very top and laugh, your smile will touch the sky. You can see here that she climbed the tree. And look, there's the birds and a little fox watching her.
I'm smiling, you can't see, but I am.
You can see it in my eyes.
Yeah?
If you stay there overnight, you will learn to count stars like dreams. Inside cities, where skyscrapers cloud the view of everything above, walk in the steel shadows, remembering Mayan pyramids that too lived amongst the heavens.
Whoa, there were pyramids in places other than Egypt?
Yeah.
Cool, where's Mayan stuff?
Some of the best pyramids.
Wow.
There are questions we all ask when we are learning what it means to be human. Who invented my hands? Why wasn't I born with wings? And does the moon ever get lonely? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
There are questions this world will ask. What are you, and where are you from? And there will come a day when some people in the world will not smile at you. On that day, tell them this. Yo soy Muslim. I am from Allah, angels, and a place almost as old as time. I speak Spanish, Arabic, and dreams. Mi mama creates life, mi abuelo works the fields, my ancestors did amazing things, and so will I. No matter what they say, know that you are wondrous, a child of crescent moons, a builder of mosques, a descendant of brilliance, an ancestor in training. Say it with me. Yo soy Muslim. Our prayers were here before any borders were.
Yo soy Muslim. Our prayers were here before any borders were. Can we say it together?
Yeah.
Yo soy Muslim.
Our
Prayers were here before any borders were. I like that message.
I like it too. Yo soy Muslim, and the desert hold the secret of our souls. Yo soy Muslim. Hummingbirds send blessings with their wings. Yo soy Muslim. If you listen closely to the drum, you can hear God. And do you see all the animals running and flying together and swimming? Dance, smile, laugh, pray. Say it with me. Yo
Soy Muslim.
Yo
Soy Muslim.
By those who dance with the wind, smile at the sun, laugh in the rain, and pray. The end.
That's great, Miss Sarah. I love the pictures.
No, it's beautiful illustration, and I love the message in this book.
That if we open up our hearts, we can learn so much, and we can find that even though it seems like we have so many differences, that there are connections. Even even with somebody who could be as different as we could ever imagine, you never know. And one thing I always like to say, and a lot of kids have it, and sometimes adults lose it, but have you ever heard of the term curious?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Curious George. Sometimes being curious gets him into trouble, but curiosity is connected to your imagination, and your imagination is the beginning. It's like your dreams, and then it's the beginning of growing up happy in this world and finding good things, because there's always good things in this world, and the more we learn about them, the happier we are.
The message that I really like in this book is really about being proud of yourself and proud of your heritage and the things that might be different than the other people around you. And even, we saw the character in the book, some people were being mean to them for a little bit, and they maybe didn't quite understand them, and so it seems like her response to that is being really proud of herself and really proud of her heritage, and I love that message.
Yeah. And you remember in the beginning how the front of the book says it's a father's letter to his daughter. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have fathers, or they don't talk to them, or they don't see them, but it could be anybody sending you a message. It could be your mom, grandma, caretaker, and I always say this because it's important. Not everybody has the same things in life, and that could be actual stuff, or that could be people. Like, I didn't have any grandparents growing up, but there are plenty of other people who can love you and teach you, and you can learn from, and in fact, it just makes the world feel like a big family.
Mm-hmm. Yes, family looks different for everyone, and I think that's really amazing.
That is so cool. So there's on one of the pages, yes. I was wondering, what is, these illustrations are so beautiful, and I love the clothes that everybody's wearing.
Yes, let's look at some of the clothes. So they have some beautiful outfits on it here.
Yeah, this is a beautiful illustration. Can you imagine being able to draw like that?
Yeah.
Like, how cool. And I see the mom is wearing, or the lady who is with a child, she is wearing something on her head, which I know has lots of different names, and there are lots of different ways to wear that headscarf, and they all, each way has a different name. Some people call it a hijab, some people call it a burqa. Basically, it's a very cultural way to dress. It's like a lot of Indian people you see will have, it's called a bindi. And we call it a bindi, and a lot of Hindu people wear it, and that's another religion. So there's Islam, which are Muslim people are Islamic. And then my family grew up, I'm a Hindu, and we wear a bindi in our forehead. And what it means is we're proud of our culture, and we're proud to share it with everybody. That's what it means. We are proud to share. And let's move on, because I have other questions.
Yeah, let's read some of this beautiful book that you have there.
So look, this is a book that I got from our reference section in the nonfiction area where the computers are. And this book is a series, so there's many books, but it's all about different countries. And this one is about countries from around the world. And
I really love when I find a book that I like, especially a fiction book. If I can find a book like what Miss Sunita has here that is nonfiction that can help me learn more about what I'm really interested in this book. So let's do a little bit of that.
Definitely. And you see there's a little girl on the cover, and she's wearing the traditional Islamic Muslim. She's wearing the traditional headdress. And I would like to know more. Look, she looks just like us, doesn't she? She's a kid, just like we all were at one point. Okay, so I want to learn more about this culture because I love the pictures and I love the message. And I want to learn more because guess what? In case I meet somebody who is Muslim, I want to be able to be prepared with questions. And I like to read books because I don't want to make assumptions and assume I know a lot about them, but I don't yet. So you can make those first baby steps by reading books or using our digital resources, our ebooks, so there's plenty of opportunities. So
you want to find out about...
I want to take a quick look. Yeah, I do, but I also want to see what else is in this book. So let's see. Cultures of the world. And do you remember what, I mentioned earlier about a table of contents. So I feel like it's a good place to start, to see if I can find any kind of information. So in our table of contents, we have all different subject styles. So we have, the first one is Iran today. That means what it's like right now in the present. There's geography, and it looks like they have mountains and rivers, and flora and fauna, which means a lot of diverse animals and nature, like flowers and things. History, ancient Iran. Oh man, there's so many dynasties and so much going on in the history. It must be thousands of years old. Also, we can learn about government and how their laws and their courts and their elections. We can learn about economy, which includes agriculture, which is another word for what, Miss Sarah?
Farming.
Farming. Oh, cool. Okay. And I don't want to say we all, but there is something very famous about Iranian culture, and they have a lot of wonderful antique carpets, which are known as Persian rugs. Ooh, I love Persian rugs.
They have a very rich textile history.
Oh.
And I noticed some of that in our illustrations from the first book. You can see a little bit of their traditional patterns and things like that you can also see in Persian carpets.
That is so cool. Okay. And environment. So environment means like pollution. And we can also learn about the weather a little bit because they tend to be, it's a small country and it's right in the Middle East. So a lot of times Middle Eastern countries tend to get really hot. So we can learn a little bit about weather if we wanted. We can learn about the people themselves, the Iranians, and where they come from and all the different ethnic groups, which is really interesting because a lot of people tend to assume like there's all one type of people, but actually there's like really a ton of types of different people in one country.
It's just as diverse as it is here.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we have lifestyle, which includes education, city life, rural life, which means more like in
the
countryside, farmy.
Not so big city like we are.
We're going to go through a few more of these. Religion. The official religion of Iran is Islam. So we can learn about that. But look, there's two different kinds of Islam. There's Shia and Sunni. I wonder what the difference is there. Language, which is really cool. Here, we don't have an official language, which is really good because we can allow for multiple languages. But English is the main one, Spanish is the main one, and we do have a lot of people from other places here, and a lot of them speak Arabic. So it's always good to learn other languages because it helps you learn the one you know best even better. And, arts. I'd love to look, okay, why don't we look up something about the arts? So we'll keep that in our mind as we see what we want to learn about. Leisure, sports. Oh, cool. Like we have sports here, right? Like what?
I wonder how they compare.
Exactly. Okay. Festivals. Like a festival is like a big celebration, right? A big party. It looks like they have a bunch right here. One is called Ramadan, which I think I've definitely heard of, Ramadan.
I've seen people celebrating it here, yes.
Yeah, and it's always nice to wish a Muslim friend happy Ramadan, or Eid is another one. So we can always learn about those. It's almost dinner time. Miss Sunita's a little hungry. Food is another category. Well, we can find out they eat meat and fish, rice and breads, side dishes and soups, Iranian drinks and sweets. Ooh, that sounds really, really delicious. So we've already learned a lot of things just by reading the table of contents. But now I kind of want to find out a little bit more about the arts. So we're going to go to the page number that is in the table of contents, which looks like
93.
Perfect. So
it is one of my favorite things to do when I'm looking to check out a book, to decide if it's a book that I want to take home, is to go through the table of contents and look at everything that's inside of it. So if I have a specific question, I can learn whether or not I'm going to be able to answer that question inside this book. Or sometimes I just like to look at the table of contents to know what's inside of it and what cool things I get to read when I check that book out.
Right, sometimes you don't even know the stuff that you're about to learn, and that's kind of the beauty of reading books or going online and reading books. So we have arts right here. Look at these beautiful vases.
Beautiful colors.
Is this kind of like the art style that you were talking about, Miss Sarah?
Yeah.
I like that it's all like squiggly and like the pattern repeats. I mean, that's what a pattern is. It repeats and it's so beautiful. And what else? Super colorful, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. In fact, me and Miss Sarah are wearing a color that you can call it mustard, goldenrod, and you do see people wearing this color everywhere, but it is meant to reflect the richness of the culture that we are talking about. Okay, cool. So let's see. Look, it says something about literature. It's a Persian literature, especially poetry, is rich and varied. Persian poets have produced classics that are influential even today, that have attracted the attention of non-Iranians as well. Carpet weaving, like we talked about, has reached almost perfection, making the name Persia synonymous with exquisite carpets. Cool. I want to keep going. Oh, look at the landscape gardening. Look at the beautiful garden.
Beautiful.
It looks like a lot of gardens similar to around Donatucci, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What's similar about it? I think they're both really super colorful and beautiful.
The plants. And some of those flowers.
Wow.
They look like the colors we're wearing right now.
That's so cool. Wow, and I see that there's a poem here. This is cool. This poem is actually, I might read this poem.
Sure.
This poem, and that's another cool thing. Even though this is a reference book, you can find so many different kinds of things, like poems in them. And this is written by a poet named Hafez. All right. And Hafez was born sometime between 1310 and 1325 in the city of Shiraz. So I'm going to read a poem that he wrote that has been translated to English. He's been compared to Shakespeare and other famous poets.
So what language did he write this poem in?
So this is actually in Arabic, but if I'm not mistaken, this is in Arabic. But there's another language that I've heard of in Iran, and it's called Farsi.
Yes.
And so a lot of people will be able to speak both languages in a lot of Middle Eastern countries. So, the rose is not fair without the beloved's face, nor merry the spring without the sweet laughter of wine. The path through the fields and winds from a flower-strewn place, without her bright cheek, which glows like a tulip fine, nor winds softly blowing, fields deep in corn are fair. And lips like to sugar, grace like a flower that sways, are not without kisses many and dalliance sweet. If thousands of voices sang not the rose's praise, the joy of the cypress her opening bud to greet, nor dancing of boughs, nor blossoming rose were fair. Wow!
Wow, it's beautiful.
I think it's really cool, and it was actually translated by a lady named Gertrude Lothian Bell in 1897, so like 600 years later. We get to read this, which is beautiful. It's about roses and nature, and we get to read it because somebody translated it, because they know more than one language. That is so cool. And here we see mosques, and mosques are where people who are Muslim go to pray. Like a lot of Christian people or Catholic people go to church. Hindu people, we go to temples. But look at how beautiful,
So beautiful.
Just like a church, the ceilings are high, right? And I think they're high to suggest that this bigger presence is all around us and to remind us to be humble but brave and to appreciate how big the world is. Wow, this is so cool. Oh, cool. And look, many Iranian women find expression in education and the arts. Well, that's great. That means that girls can do anything that boys can do, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I like that. All right, cool. Let's see if we can learn anything else. Is there anything you were wondering about?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh, I see we have a glossary right here, like we were talking.
Let's some of the words that they tell us in the glossary.
Okay, so I'm going to look up a word that I don't know, which is, what is a mullah? A mullah.
Ooh, that's a good question. What is it?
A mullah is a
Muslim teacher or scholar.
Oh, cool. So I call them teachers or professors, and there you might call them a mullah. Ooh, let's see. What's that? A ney?
It says it is a traditional Iranian flute.
Cool. So it's similar. It sounds like it's similar to a flute.
Yeah.
Because it's a wind instrument and you play it a certain way, but it has its own name and it probably has its own way of playing it, which is really cool. All right. I'm going to see what I like here. Now, what's this? A Hajj?
An annual pilgrimage Muslims all over the world make to Islam's holy city, Mecca.
Cool.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, that is really cool. So a Hajj is, it's traditional for Muslims to make one pilgrimage to a very sacred city called Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia. And another holy city for them is Medina. And so a Hajj is a very sacred thing, and it is a pilgrimage that you make at least once in your lifetime, but some people can do it once a year.
You know, I knew about that pilgrimage before, but I didn't know the word that they used for it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So why don't I look at the index? So this is another way to find out. Go through it. It's in alphabetical order, and it's by topic. So the difference is that it'll list the title of the person, or it'll list a term and what page you can find it on. It's different from the glossary because the glossary gives you a definition.
So, if you have a really specific question, like for example, I would love to know what kind of things they can farm in Iran. So, can you find that for me? Can you find anything about farming?
Wow, I actually did, because farming starts with F. And so look, there's page 9, pages 15 and 16, pages 53, page 56 to 58, page 70, page 76, page 110, page 126. They must have lots of yummy fruits and vegetables and other things that they, grains and rice that they grow in Iran, because there's so many different listings here. Any page you want to go to?
Ooh, let's try sometime, because each one of these pages is a place where they talk about farming at least one time. So sometimes I like to pick one that has a bunch of pages. So maybe we'll do page 56 to 58, because there's a couple pages in there. So I know there's going to be lots of information about farming.
Page 56. Oh wait, look, I had to show you. Look, there's animals. Sorry, and sometimes you're on your way to look for something and you find something else.
Perhaps even
oh my God, look, it's a tiger. And this is a Baluchistan black bear, which means it is indigenous or originates from the region. Look at the Persian fallow deer.
Oh.
Wow, and look, in this book, there are links to internet articles and websites that you can further read about, which is another cool thing about reading reference books, is it doesn't have to stop there. Keep looking for links on the page or something called for further information, and then you can find other books, websites, films, and music. And if you need access or find any of that stuff, come to librarians and we will help you. And there's something called a bibliography. And a bibliography is pretty simple. People who wrote this book used sources and facts and information to write what they write, and is a way to help you learn more and to show where they learned what they wrote about. They listed everywhere they got their information from. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now, page 56. This one's about protecting the environment. So, do you want to keep reading about this, or do you want to read something about the way they farm? You want to see a picture of a farm?
Yeah, I want to see a picture of a farm. Maybe let's try page 15 to 16. I remember those were the first two pages about farming.
Wow, there's a lot of information. This is the area of the book where they talk about the mountains and the rivers and the land itself. Now, 15, let's see, and then what you would do is you would look for the word farm. There, I see the word there.
All right, what does it say?
And it's about the tunnels that could, in Iran, that could transport underground water to a dry area. Because it's hot and very dry, sometimes you have to find a more creative way to bring water into the area. That's called irrigation, and is a very ancient form. And we still use it today. Now this one is about getting networked of tunnels to bring water to farms so the farms can be open and so they can grow well.
That's awesome.
Well, I want to look at a farm that is full of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Miss Sarah?
I would love that. Maybe in the food section?
Ooh. Maybe we should talk about food. Maybe we should talk about
fast
food.
forward the farming process to when we're eating food.
So I'm going to go back to the table of contents, and I want to read. Okay, this is on page 123. And we're going to read a little bit about food, and then we're going to do our goodbye song. What page did I say, Miss Sarah? 123.
123.
It's always good to double check. Never assume. Don't assume that you remember something. It's always good to food.
Oh wow!
Wow, they're cooking. Look at this. Look at that big fish they caught.
That's a huge fish.
That's a really.
That looks like it might be bigger than I am.
Oh, that looks so delicious.
Wow.
So this is called pilaf, and actually pilaf happens in a lot of different cultures. And what it means is rice mixed with other stuff like vegetables or meat. Anybody ever heard of rice-a-roni? It's kind of similar to pilaf, actually. And that's so cool that you have connections everywhere. I love rice-a-roni, I'm just saying. But this has rice and barberries, which is a kind of fruit that is native to Iran. Well, look at this. Look, these are spicy meatballs.
Ooh.
Don't they look like just like the meatballs you make on with your grandma or your mom or your family or dad or your grandpa makes on a Sunday? Well, this is an Iranian version of sauce or gravy with meatballs. And with cumin and coriander, which are two spices that are used often in this area. Also, those are spices that are used in Mexican cuisine, which is like, seems pretty far away, but that's awesome. Are the featured spices in kofta. So we call them meatballs, they call them kofta, or spicy meatballs. And shown here in a tomato sauce or gravy with yogurt. That looks delicious. It just keeps going, Miss Sarah. They have yogurt, which is milk. It sounds like we might actually have gotten a lot of ideas from Persian culture and Iranian culture and the way we do stuff too. And it sounds like they might be learning from us too, which I think is so cool. Well,
that's an awesome book. I'm so glad we read that.
I learned a lot, didn't you, Miss Sarah?
I did.
Okay, well, we are going to do our goodbye song, and we just want to tell you again, thank you so much for watching, and please join me in sending well wishes and a see you later to Miss Sarah. It's not goodbye. No goodbyes.
See you later.
And I think that, again, I want to say that this is a really different time for everybody, you know, for adults, for grown-ups, for kids, for older people too. For pets, it's like kind of an interesting time.
They're doing all right.
They're doing all right, yeah. But just because you don't see somebody in person doesn't mean that they're not with you.
Exactly.
And doesn't mean, especially now, we can use our technology for good and to learn about cool new things we might not have learned about if this didn't happen. So let's try to take the good in it, and let's wish our Miss Sarah a see you later, and we will come back to you soon with another story time from the park. So it's a real see you later. All right, let's do our hello song, but replace all the hellos with goodbyes, Miss Sarah.
Gotcha.
All right. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as quickly as we can. Bye. Goodbye. All right. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as slow as we can. Goodbye. All right, let's keep going. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as we can. Yes, thank you, Miss Sarah. All right, opposite of hi. Let's find out. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as low, hello. I mean goodbye. See, it's a hello. All right, we're not saying goodbye. Just for now, yeah. Okay. Last two. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye. As quiet as we can. Sarah, for now. Okay, last one. Turn it up. Bread and butter and marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as loud as we can. Goodbye. See you later. Not goodbye. Hello. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. Do you want to say?
Guys, I love you all, and I'll see you all very soon.
Maybe Miss Sarah can, make some guest appearances after she moves back to Pittsburgh. It's all the same state.
Amazing thing about technology.
It can be good. It can be great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
We'll see you soon.